We are here at CrossFit 843 out in Bluffton, and I am with Dave Miller and Glenn Sheaffer from Superior Services, but most importantly, we're here with Mason Miller, who's really the boss of this whole thing. So thanks for being with us, Mason. We are here talking about sanitization, as obviously we're in this pandemic with COVID-19, and we're talking a little bit about why it's important to kind of sanitize your whole business. So guys, let's talk a little bit about the process of what's going to happen here today.
Sure. Take it.
CrossFit is being proactive in the remediation process. It's undetermined how long the virus remains in the air. So that's why it's imperative to kind of be proactive. And if you have someone that may be infected or maybe the possibility of being infected, you may want to remediate the air. And this is what this machine does. It actually takes the moisture and
Mixes it, basically just, the moisture carries it and it diffuses it into the air and disperses it a little bit easier in a low moisture content building.
Well, and obviously we're in a really large space here, so it would be next to impossible for somebody to wipe this down effectively.
Correct.
So this machine obviously takes care of that. So what are we going to see when you guys are doing
Sure.
your thing?
that's why this machine has a fogging capability. And what it does is it basically blankets the surfaces of everything. So you couldn't possibly come into this building and wipe everything down piece by piece. It would be such an expense, and you still may not get it all. What this does is it shares the airspace with the chemicals that we use to remediate the mold, the coronavirus, or COVID-19.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, COVID-19.
And obviously there's also a kids area here, so we're going to go in there and sanitize that as well. What kinds of businesses, clearly this is a business where people are touching things, sharing equipment, doing things like that. What other kinds of businesses do you recommend this kind of thing for? Because, there's a lot of them out there where people really, you don't realize how much contact you have with other things that people have contact with until something like this happens, and then all of a sudden, oh my gosh. I don't want to touch anything.
Well, we wouldn't drag this through your house, but you could use it through anywhere can actually benefit from it. However, what we have here is for large spaces, and we can wheel this slowly through a space and get the majority of the space. Then we have handheld devices that we would walk around, and we would hit all the high traffic areas a little bit harder than just the mist. Okay. And then on top of that, we would go through and we would hit all the traffic areas, doorknobs, handrails, anywhere where you're coming in and out of areas, wipe those things down. So, long story short, everywhere can benefit from it if you have a situation where you feel like you need to have it cleaned, or just to be like CrossFit is and being proactive in getting it done. Nobody's had any confirmed cases here, but that's the way you keep it that way, is you spray everything down and be proactive. So that's kind of what the gist is. We've done it in homes, we've done it in businesses. This is just our larger scale model for wheeling through a giant space like we have here to kind of save time and get more of the building done in a shorter fashion.
Right. Well, so you mentioned homes, so let's talk about that just for a second, because obviously this is a grand scale, but we live in our homes every day, and so we need to be really proactive there as well.
Sure.
So what kind of thing do you do in a home, and what are some tips that you might give to us as we are isolating and needing to clean ourselves? So give us tips both ways.
While the entire nation is grounded, right? Yes. Or nobody can go out and play.
Right.
Ventilation is key. Keeping air moving through the facility or your home. Make sure your system's working properly. Make sure you have a good airflow rate. Make sure your vents and your returns are clean, so the air processes through it and can move that contamination, if there is any, throughout the airspace and out of the home.
Right. That's all great stuff, and we can't. And nobody can actually say we can prevent anything from spreading or happening. All we're doing is minimizing and reducing the chances. All it takes, you could clean a house, and I'm not trying to scare people, but then somebody that is infected could walk in, grab the handle, and that clean surface is now not clean. Right. So you want to just hit the traffic areas as much as possible. That way, if somebody did contaminate it, you're cleaning it every X amount of hours if you're that concerned. But for the most part, it's nice to just have this going through the house or the duct systems at least once. What happens is you don't see it. We've turned these things up so when you see them later and you actually see the mist, that's overkill. We're just doing that so you can actually see how they're working when they are working. But it's a fine mist that you don't even really see. It falls on the surfaces and then it evaporates and dries. And I think the kill factor is like 3 to 40 seconds of just sitting on something and then it's taking care of it. Whereas if we were to just have the virus sitting on this hard surface right now, they're saying it could be as long as 9 or 10 days, I think.
Yeah,
is-
9 days.
Yeah, 9 days it
It's a
could
consensus.
technically live there. You know, so we're hitting things like that, and that way, if somebody that, you know, did touch it, then we're handling it.
And you mentioned before we started filming it, I think I heard you say out of the corner of my ear that this is all non-toxic stuff, right, that you were
Correct.
using?
Right, it's all approved, not approved, I'm sorry, registered with the EPA, you know.
Okay.
It's not going to
It's a
kill pets,
disinfectant.
not going to kill humans, not going to kill plants. It does have a smell, and we do recommend that we ventilate the house or you're out of the house for a little bit because, like anything, even air fresheners that might be healthy for you, take that smell and breathe it in, a lot of it all at once, it gives you a headache. So we keep you out of the house for a little bit, we ventilate the house or business, and then, but yeah, it's not going to hurt anything. And the stuff we use handles everything. I mean, if it's a virus, you know, COVID-19, all the past ones you've heard about, you know, AIDS, anything. If it's on here, it's gonna
gone.
It's gonna kill it.
It's gone for
99.9%.
sure.
99.9.
So I know as you are Superior Services, you offer a lot of things. So we've been talking a lot about this particular cleaning system that you have, but I know you also clean ducts and you do other things like that. Why, is it good to have those in conjunction when you're doing this kind of cleaning? Tell us a little bit about other things we might want to do at this time.
Your ventilation system is the #1 source for possible contamination. Second is your carpet. So it's very important to make sure you maintain a healthy duct system to keep the house healthy. You know, that would be a maintenance program, you know, cleaning the coils and the fan motor, you know, every 6 months to a year, or at least having an inspection of that sort. And then cleaning the ductwork. The EPA recommends you should take some type of precaution and evaluation every 2 years on the system. So with that in mind, you know, there are a lot of things that develop in ductwork, you know, because you've got moisture, which is a food source for mold and bacteria and other fungi and contaminants.
Yeah. So walk us through a little bit about you. Obviously, you're here working
Right.
today, and you are available to do businesses that I'm sure there's a lot of them right now that have some downtime where it's a good time to get this done.
Correct.
But are you still working in homes now as well?
We are. If they're, you know, we're considered an essential service, so we're still working. We're changing our workload to more essentially based work. You know, air conditioners are out, duct cleaning,
Right.
home cleaning, and things like that. Some people don't want us in their house. Totally understand that.
Right.
We have protocols written up for our staff. You know, between checking temperatures of the staff, making sure if they don't feel good, then they quarantine themselves. So we feel pretty confident that our staff, if they're at work and in the home, they're healthy. And even if maybe they're not and we don't know it, we're taking the precautions of social distancing, not touching things, wearing gloves, masks, things like that.
Yeah.
So we are still getting it done.
So once we move past this, which we're all hoping is going to be sooner rather than later, let's talk about some of the maintenance programs that you offer. You guys have been in the business for 20 years. You obviously have a great track record and great success record. So tell us about some of the maintenance things that you offer and some things that we can kind of keep our house, you know, up to date and clean, even when we're not in the midst of a pandemic.
Sure.
We all panic at this moment. We're cleaning from stem to stern every day.
Right.
But what should we do once we're past this to maintain as healthy an environment as we can have?
To kind of bring everything together, the bottom line is a happy house is a healthy house. So this is something that we should be doing, you know, yearly, biannually, things like that. And it took a pandemic to make everybody step back and think, well, maybe we're not being as clean as we should be. So yeah, our maintenance programs handle the air conditioning system, which is the lifeblood of the ventilation of the house. And if you have clean ducts and clean air conditioning coils, other things like Glenn mentioned can't grow or won't grow or have less things to, in a sense, eat to want to grow.
Yeah.
So we handle the duct systems with, you know, with the cleaning of the ducts. You handle the air conditioning system by servicing and make sure it's running right. We offer carpet cleaning now, as we mentioned. So we go in there, you know, nobody wants to hear it, but carpets are the filters of your house. You know, if the dust just falls and it collects in the carpet, and vacuuming gets most of it out, but not all of it. So we come in there, we clean the carpets, get that stuff out of there. So now you have, you know, clean carpets, clean air, clean ductwork. You know, basically you think of the whole house as a living organism, and if we take care of the whole living organism, it's going to stay healthy. And, you know, like they try to do here at CrossFit, stay fit.
Yeah,
So-
right, exactly.
And adding to
Have a
that,
fit
you know,
house.
and adding to that, fabrics are a challenge. You know, you can wash your clothes, but what do you do with your sofa and your drapery and your wool rugs and things of that nature? We can take care of all that And that's a vital part of remediation in this process that we're going through right now.
Yeah. All right, so when we are all back to a little bit more normal, how do they get in touch with you if they want some of your fantastic services?
Sure. Well, we got, our website's always up with live chat and text messaging across the board there. They can call our 800 number. If it's emergency, we have live people answering the phones 24/7 and same-day response. You know, we try to, with the combination of all of our services, we're trying to be more of a turnkey, white glove, one phone call does it all company. So.
Excellent. Well, thanks, guys.